Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mr. Lowe. I am live with period number 2 math. Everybody say hi. Hi. Okay, now you guys get back to work. And for today's lesson, you guys, we're talking about classifying triangles. You are going to need to have your math notebooks out. You're going to need to have a pencil, and you are going to need to copy down these notes, which means you may need to pause the video to give you time to copy, but I'm going to go fairly quick. All right, classifying triangles by side length. This is topic 16 and lesson 1, so 16-1. There are 3 ways that we are classifying triangles. You want to write down these 3 different types of triangles. These are classified by side length: scalene, isosceles, and equilateral. Let's talk about first the scalene triangle. That's an example of what a scalene triangle looks like. In a scalene triangle, no sides are equal to each other. They're all different lengths. So you want to make sure you kind of draw a triangle in your notebook. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make sure you get it down. This is what you need to have most important. No sides the same length. If they were the same length, you would see little tick marks in your in the drawing of your triangle. But because there are no tick marks, then those 2 sides are actually not equal to each other, so we're going to erase those. Scalene triangles, no sides the same length. Let's move on to isosceles. An isosceles triangle, and this one you're actually going to add tick marks to it because this side is equivalent to this side, which means they have the same length. And an isosceles triangle, at least 2 sides have the same side length. So again, you want to write that down in your notebook. We're going to pause in a second here to give you some chances to copy this information down. The 3rd way of classifying a triangle by its side length is called an equilateral. Equilateral means all 3 sides are exactly the same length. So we have scalene, no sides; isosceles, 2 sides, at least 2, and an equilateral where all 3 sides have the same length. You probably want to pause and make sure you have copied all of this information down in your notebook. Isn't that right, period 2? Yeah! All right. You betcha. So now we're going to move on to classifying triangles by angle measurements. If you hadn't copied down your notes from the side length section, please pause now before you go on. 3 types of angles that we talk about, and this is stuff, the type of angle measurement should be a review from last year, and we have 3. We have a right triangle. Can someone please go grab my pen for me? Sure. Thank you. We have a right triangle. We have an acute triangle and an obtuse triangle. We have a right triangle, which means, where is my pen? Anyways, we have a right triangle. That one probably doesn't have a tip on it. Or does it? Oh, good. We have a right triangle where a right triangle is easily identified. Okay, that pen's not working. So we'll do this. Easily identified by that little box right in the corner. Any triangle you see that has a box in the corner is called a right triangle. And a right triangle measures 90 degrees. A right triangle measures 90 degrees, which would be that right there. So that angle measures 90 degrees. An acute triangle, so now we're looking at each of these angles here, here, and here. Each of these angles, all 3 angles measure less than 90 degrees because they are all acute angles. So they are all less than 90 degrees. That is an acute angle, less than 90 degrees. That's supposed to be a degree symbol. The last one is an obtuse triangle, and an obtuse triangle, one angle, just one. Acute triangles, all three angles had to measure less than 90. An obtuse triangle, just one angle must be less than 90, or no, not less than 90. How about more than, than 90, less than 180. So an acute angle is greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees. Again, I'm going to have you guys pause the video so that we can get you some time in your books. I'm going to try and move over to Practice Buddy to go through and look at a couple of practice problems. So problem number 1 says classify the triangles by sides and then by its angles. So I first look at the sides. I've got 6 centimeters here, 6 centimeters here, 2.1 centimeters here. That is what kind of angle, period 2? 6, 6, and 2.1. That is an isosceles triangle. The reason it is isosceles because two sides have the same length. Classify it by its angle measurements. I've got 80 degrees, 20 degrees, and 80 degrees. All three are less than 90, which means it is an acute triangle. We're going to check our answer. We're going to get a nice work. These are the types of problems that you're going to need to be working on today. You will have some story problems. When you do get to the story problems, guys, you want to make sure you read super carefully. So read carefully about the story problems. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Your homework, almost forgot about that, is Homework Buddy 16.1, and the Adaptive Homework 16.1. HB and AH.